welcome to Aman Ministries, as we continue on with another sign the great dragon revealed of Revelation 12. Part 5, A Dragon's Tail, the Future Countdown. Can you bring out the Mazzaroth in its season? Can you guide the great bear and her cubs? His tail drew a third of the stars of heaven and threw them to the earth. The bear is guided in the Mazzaroth, and the dragon's tail is drawn across 1/3 of the stars of heaven. The dragon and the great bear both move. The Mazzaroth is in the heavens, and these signs are both on the farthest sides of the north. God will now amaze us with what He has hidden in His Word. This is a time-elapsed photo of the farthest sides of the north. This is where the dragon and the bear are located in the heavens. From Earth, these constellations appear to rotate counterclockwise and complete one full rotation every 24 hours. In the heavens, we use what we call the equatorial grid. Beginning at the North Pole, the sky is divided into 24 equal sectors. Each sector is 1 hour of the Earth's rotation. When we look at Draco in the heavens, we find that the tail and the body covers 8 of the 24 sectors in the equatorial grid. And here we see those 8 sectors. This is 1/3 of the stars of the heavens. Scripture tells us his tail drew 1/3 of the stars of heaven. However, this is not what God is talking about in Scripture. The Greek word translated drew is siri, and it means to drag across. And it is not he who drew the stars, but it is his tail drawn across the stars. Now, you need to know that this portion of Scripture in Revelation is where the teaching comes from that when Lucifer or Satan fell, he took 1/3 of the angels with him. This is where the 1/3 comes from. It comes from Revelation 12:4. And that is an allegorical teaching. It's not literal. Revelation 12:4 is not first allegorical. It is first literal, and Scripture tells us when. It tells us when. The great sign was completed on September 23rd of 2017 as the moon aligned perfectly under her feet. The sign produces not only an exact date, but it gives us an exact start time as well. This was at 9 p.m. Jerusalem time on September 23rd of 2017, and this was when the fast of Gedaliah began. This is a calendar. Revelation 12:3 and 4 then tells us that his tail drew across 1/3 of the stars of heaven. This is a clock. I want you to think about that for just a moment. The great sign of the woman is a calendar. The dragon is a clock. And here we are going to look at that clock. On September 23rd of 2017 in Jerusalem, when the moon was under the woman's feet, Draco's tail then swept across 1/3 of the stars of heaven from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., exactly as it is written in Scripture in Revelation 12. This literally fulfills every possible aspect of the prophecy which can be accomplished in the stars. Let's take a look at that one more time. Here again we see Draco's tail at 9 p.m. when the moon is perfectly under the woman's feet. Exactly 8 hours later, tail stops at 5 a.m. And there is one thing you must understand about this. The heavens have always been God's original timepiece. We have always tracked time from the sun, the moon, and the stars. The dragon, as a constellation, would have been watched every night to tell the time. God placed a future calendar date event in Scripture. It is the great sign of the woman, and it appeared on the fast of the seventh, or the fast of Gedaliah. God also placed a future clock in Scripture. It is the sign of the great dragon, and it appeared on the fast of Gedaliah from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Together, once again, they are a calendar and a clock. And I got to tell you, this is a little on the crazy side. To think that a prophecy in Scripture is not only a calendar, but a clock as well. As to why God placed a future calendar event and a future clock in Scripture, we do not need to guess, speculate, or wonder. Scripture tells us what heavenly signs are for. The great sign is exactly that. It is a heavenly sign. It was never the fulfillment of Revelation 12, nor could it be, because all of the prophecy was not taking place in the heavens. Signs are His heavenly declaration, which reveals knowledge and provides us with instruction, are to be a testimony or a witness to all peoples, are a measuring line of and to His appointed times. And I want you to get that again. Heavenly signs are measuring lines of and to His appointed times. Heavenly signs are warnings to His servants of what is coming. And this is one again I want you to hear again. The heavenly signs are warnings to His servants of what is coming. They are to be desired more than much fine gold. And they are to be a great reward for those who keep them. This is what God says His signs are for. And just so you know, in Scripture, the phrase to keep or keeping them, whenever that's connected or attached to prophecy, which is what this is, to keep means to wait and watch to see it literally fulfilled. I have known what the sign of the woman was and what the great dragon was since 2013. And I chose not to bring this forward until now. In 2013, before I found the dragon, I shared the great sign with a friend who was an elder at a local church. Now, as he saw the great sign form up on my computer, and we'd already been over Revelation 12, his immediate response was, "It's the rapture!" And right after that he said, "Rosh Hashanah 2014 will be the rapture." Now, it was unstoppable and uncontrollable. I knew that this was absolutely 110% wrong, yet nothing I could say would dissuade him of what he knew. In addition to this, the 4 tetrad blood moons presented by Mark Biltz were also happening at this same time. It was truly a crazy time to be dealing with this. Now, I am now going to tell you what no one else knows, even after all of this time. The 4 tetrad blood moons of 2014 and 2015 are in fact marking not 1, not 2, but 3 of the greatest prophetic events in the history of Israel. The 4 tetrad blood moons and the great sign are literally connected together in the heavens and are pointing right at the great sign. The 4 tetrad blood moons and the great sign are both marking the same types of prophetic events in Israel's history. And the 4 blood moons are in a midrashic pattern and were always pointing into the future at what was coming upon the earth. And we have now been given a future calendar, event, and a future clock. Now truly, take some time, pause this, and review what I have just told you in these 4 points about the 4 tetrad blood moons. Now, originally, I wasn't going to make this a part of this presentation. And as I was reviewing the presentation and revising it, I decided to go ahead and add this in. For that reason, I'm going to be putting in a part 8 to this series, in which I am going to show you everything here that I have just gone over. This concludes part 5, A Dragon's Tale, The Future Countdown. Please join us for part 6, What on Earth is Happening? The Scriptural Answer. The title of this series is This Final Generation. We'd like to thank you for watching, and we look forward to being with you again real soon. You can reach us at our web address at www.the70th7.com. That's the70th7.com. Did you hear something? If you thought that was cool, wait till you see what happens next.